Help protect us from racism and xenophobia by becoming an I Love Black People ambassador today. Join on iloveblackpeople.com. No matter where you are in the world, join us today and get access to the I Love Black People network. Special thanks to Banneker Communities.
Greetings, amazing, dynamic, wonderful, I Love Black People listeners. Really appreciate you for joining us on this wonderful journey. I'm actually coming all the way from South Africa, and definitely it's summertime here. So definitely, if you're listening and it's cold outside, it's definitely warm outside in Johannesburg, South Africa. With that being said, so much going on. Just want to say again, thank you for literally all the people giving us shout outs and information you send to info at I Love Black People. We definitely, your suggestions as well as your insights were very helpful in all the work that we're doing and we continue to do. I just wanted to kind of give a, kind of debrief on some of the stuff we were working on. Of course, we were literally doing as much as possible to make sure that we supported our Kamala Harris, our sister, fellow HBCU, and make sure we didn't get a racist, sexist person elected, but we're not successful in that endeavor, and a whole host of reasons. And I think some of it, we should be clear that we have to focus and execute our agenda no matter who wins. And we constantly said that, even no matter what happens on election day, the next day we got to get up and get to work. And the first person that we hold accountable is ourselves. So that being said, the most of the work we were doing, even including as it related to getting someone like Kamala in office, we were successful in supporting Angela Alsobrooks with an independent expenditure, which was great. And all these things were done to make sure that we created an environment for our families that was safe. We talk about I Love Black People. The heart of what we're doing with this startup is literally, for the first time in world history, is create a global safety net where we no longer have to live in fear of racism and Afrophobia. And we equate Afrophobia as the irrational fear or hatred of people perceived to be of African descent. And we say perceived to be of African descent because, when people are harming us, they don't ask us where they're from. They're looking at us and they use all kinds of things to determine who they think we are. And that's another thing that often even becomes an issue for dispute, even within our communities. What do we call ourselves? Some people still call themselves Negro, I guess, and some people call themselves Black, I guess, and people call themselves a host of different lineages. And that being said, we don't, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Our thing is not, we deal with the trauma and the issues that we face every day in our own families and our own communities in different ways. And I think one of the problems with social media and some of these discourses that people make it seem like there's only one or two ways to do things. There's many ways to approach this as there are people on the planet, and everyone I think has the right to have their perspective. With that being said, with the resources and time and energy that we have at I Love Black People, we're literally focused on that 1.5 billion people of African descent. And when we say that, we know it's important to be clear that race is a fiction. There's no scientific evidence for race, biologically and all the other ways. But we know racism is real. And many people are being killed and harmed as we speak right now because of racism. It has nothing to do with anything else but the context of using this insidious approach to deciding who's who based on racism and white supremacist ideology. And with that being said, if deliberate things are being done to harm us, we need to do deliberate things to protect ourselves. And that is where we operate as it relates to as a tech startup. I'm an engineer, as you know, my co-founder, Mr. Mapindera, but we're both Howard engineers. I'm also a SKI TU. With that being said, using our skills and using our backgrounds to leverage those talents to do something significant that helps our people. And what better way for us is leveraging what we call scalable technology, zero marginal growth, meaning that with software applications, you actually can have multiple users and not have an additional cost, as opposed to, let's say, a barber shop or accounting office, where for all the activities you do, you need a new chair, you need more space. There's actually a cost to being able to accommodate more people. With the technologies that we're leveraging, there's almost zero marginal cost. So we can actually impact more people with less resources than any other time in history. So we think the best way to use those resources is to make sure that we protect our communities and have ways that they can be empowered by leveraging these tools like our application that we have. And that being said, there's a whole bunch of things we've been working on. My one of the big things I think is important is that we make sure that people realize that the work we're doing is global, but we act local. And so we're based in Washington D.C. as well as Harare. And with that being said, there's plenty of work to do in Washington D.C. And we're really, really focusing on getting as many people to help us crowdsource these Black-friendly places, and that's very key. Especially, we definitely need more help in identifying Black-friendly lawyers, Black-friendly doctors, clinics, uh, child care providers. There are 8 categories, and they're critical. And we initially thought this was about the original Green Book, traveling. But traveling is one vulnerability. What we learned during COVID, that being sick is a vulnerability. That's the wrong time to have a racist person seeking their help for whatever you need, because it's not going to go well. So we're very clear that healthcare is another vulnerability, another decision that you need to have good information. And I tell this to all my colleagues: in order to make good decisions, you need good information. And good information, and I got this from one of my professors from Howard University when I failed out of the MBA program. Dr. Neville's, geez, I feel bad. I should. He failed me like 3 times. But that being said, he said, in order to make good decisions, you need good information, and good information has 3 categories. It has to be accurate, relevant, and timely. And we need that information, especially when we're vulnerable. So, healthcare is definitely key. We need your support in identifying as many Black-friendly healthcare providers. And we say Black-friendly because you could be in a place like Denmark, and you need a doctor, and it may not be any Black doctors, but you're still sick, and it's going to be hard to Google or put ChatGPT uh, non-racist doctor. With that being said, if you go to I Love Black People, there's a, a great chance that we've identified someone, maybe even a Mongolian woman doctor, that that local community has identified as being Black friendly and treats us with dignity and respect. That's what's key to us. At the end of the day, I've had people. We're right now in the process of doing some hiring, so we need some people helping out with outreach in the DMV area. And I say DMV for those who don't know, that's DC, Maryland, and Virginia, that DC metropolitan area. With that being said, some people say, well, what about the negative places? Well, we realize with technology now, people are more apt to say something negative and use uh, social media apps to do something negative to people. And what we're doing has nothing to do with negative. We're not here to attack any individuals, Black, white, or other. We're not here to attack anyone. We're here to affirm. I love Black people's affirmation. We're here to affirm that these places are Black friendly. So, just as much as people say it's important to talk about where not to go, where after you have all those conversations, you still need, you know, a place to stay or something to eat. Telling people where not to go doesn't answer the question, where do they go? So that's our answer. We're answering that question. That's the question we pose. So if you're looking for a place to share negative or information that where not to go, that's not what we're doing. And there's plenty other. And let me just say this: there's so many ways, again, to approach these problems that have existed at least for 400 or 500 years now. So we're in no way do we say that we have the only answer, but the question is key, and we're definitely not going to allow one more day to go by where our people are subjected to Afrophobia and these attacks without us doing something to protect each other. So that's our commitment and our approach in our thesis with the application is right now we're focused on crowdsourcing. I had some people go to the app and say, well, I don't see any places on here. I said, well, what we're trying to do is get a critical number of people on the app. And once we get to that critical number, then we'll be able to share a robust directory and group of people and places. So that right now we need your help to get as many people who are interested in sharing the information that helps us get the global safety net that we need. And as I said, the key areas legal, healthcare, childcare, education. These are very key areas. We got eight, that this, of course, transportation, of course, uh, uh, food, of course, places to stay, finance, beauty, transportation. But with all those being said, the ones that are key is healthcare and education, childcare, and legal. And right now, we're working on opportunities to even help out with insurance and how in places where there's no available insurance infrastructure, where we can help out on the healthcare side of things, and with sponsorship and help with that. So definitely be on the lookout for those things. We're looking for ways that we can improve that. But again, the only way that these different businesses get on our platform is they're recommended. And I think that's another thing that's key. This is our what we're doing is not about getting rich or turning over the black dollar, which we definitely, no matter what your currency is, and again, we're definitely Bitcoin maximalist type people, but whatever the transactions, what we're trying to do is focus on making sure we're safe. So again, wealth and uh, having financial literacy, all those things are important. But we want to make sure, and we want to also be clear: the original Green Book was not about uh, black dollars. It was not about wealth. It was about making sure we weren't murdered or being harmed. And in many instances, many of these locations, businesses were not black owned, but they were places where we could go and be treated with dignity and respect. And that was the crux of it. And we still are in a place where that's very important, that we can easily be singled out. And that's has nothing to do with Trump or Kamala one. These are things that are very important no matter what. People try to make it seem like we have more racist or more sexist people. We have the same amount of people. We knew who they were before the election, and they are who they are after the election. What we have to do is do a better job in organizing ourselves around our agenda and not waiting for the Democratic Party or some election or anything else to be what defines what we do and the ceiling of how far we go. We have to be the ones that take charge. And I think this is a take charge moment for folks who may not have seen it or thought about it like that. No matter who would have won, that would have been the case. Now, of course, I think if Kamala had won, I think many of us would have been, well, let's give her a shot. She's going to do right. I mean, again, based on her background, and some people confuse Biden's background with her background. She's vice president. She wasn't co-president. So, what the decisions that were made by Biden that she disagreed with, again, I know she's not someone who's inclined to support genocide or any of these other military policies, but it's one president at a time. So with that being said, I'm not going to relitigate or go through the election. No matter what, though, we have to use our tools, our um, talents to do what's necessary because no one's coming to save us, and we are the ones who we've been waiting on. And we have generations that are coming behind us. I'm Gen X. Our parents are Gen X's are baby boomers. We've done and have done as much as we can. We want to make sure that young people come behind us. Millennials, the Gen Zs have the tools. There were tools that we didn't have growing up as Gen X, and oftentimes we were blamed for the circumstances we found, like crack cocaine, AIDS, all these things. We had, no one in my neighborhood had a passport or customs, but we were impacted negatively on these things like crack cocaine. and oftentimes vilified generationally for that. So we don't participate in generational chauvinism. We're still going to make sure that as a community that we work together through the different generations and make sure that our people are able to be empowered to protect themselves so that we can create the world that we want to live in. And that being said, we're still doing, as much as possible, improving the app. So make sure if you haven't downloaded it yet, download it. And we're asking folks to get at least, 25 of your friends that you think are the type of people who want to help with this, and we'll get you a free t-shirt. If you get 50 people, I know these sound like big numbers, but we got big work to do. We got big work to do. And as a token of our appreciation, we got some fresh, nice black hoodies for those who are really interested in identifying their friends and family who want to help us build out this global safety net. We'll definitely you get them to download. We'll get you the hoodie and you make sure that your friends and family are participating in the solution that we know we need as a people. What else is going on? I think another thing, of course, is you've been watching. We do a lot of work in the space of technology. As I said, as a startup, and we do host every year. I think going on 8 years now. The Black Blockchain Summit, and we'll be doing it again this next year in September. And we need as many of you to again know what's going on. We're going to have some updates soon with some of the work that we're doing, so you can kind of follow along and be a part of that. So be on the lookout. We got some things that we're working on that we know that we can get you involved, and just keep a lookout. But we want to make sure when it comes to this Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain that our people are actually the ones who are making the solutions and not just consuming. And I think it's very important to share good information, accurate, relevant, timely, that can empower our community to be a part of this incredible industry. And there's lots of scams out there, though. So we want to make sure our people are aware of the scams and make sure that they are able to leverage this technology to make changes in ways that haven't even been thought about. I think that's what's great about this technology we call Bitcoin. It's one of those things. Meaning Bitcoin being the most successful application of blockchain, it intersects so much of what we deal with: technology, economics, social. These are key areas that I would not have, probably as a mechanical engineer in training, my fundamental training, have delved into what is real money, hard money, and some of the things that we've learned by participating in the space. And I've been in the space since about 2012, and being able to see how things have evolved and the work that has been done, and how we've done everything to try to make sure we share with our people so they know what's going on and make good decisions about what to do or what not to do. Technology, Bitcoin, blockchain, is not going to save us. We got to save ourselves. But with that being said, there's plenty of ways that we can use technologies or choose not to, but we need to know the truth. And I think one of the biggest things that we have been very concerned about, and everything that we do and the way we approach it, is make sure our people have the best information. And we're going to be doing more throughout the year to do that. And that's for individuals as well as for institutions. We want to make sure our communities know what's going on, and we want to make sure we are here to help make sure that you're protected. And one of the things we've been doing is using Bitcoin to raise money for my alma mater, Tuskegee University. We pledged $1 million. So definitely need your contributions to support us on that. We're going to come up with some ways to better connect those dots so you can participate in that. But leveraging these technologies and opportunities to build on our institutions that have been there for over 100 years, that's not that's something serious. Everybody didn't make it. There's HBCUs that didn't make it, that had very incredible founders and communities that were concerned. And Booker T. Washington, being just a visionary in so many ways, what better way to pay our respects is to make sure that we are to continue to support and use technologies like blockchain to make sure that we're able to do that. And we definitely want to shout out to Gemini and Uphold and all the folks in the crypto space that have been supportive of the work that we're doing in that regard. So thank you, thank you, thank you for everybody on that part. And then as it relates to, as we, close out and what we're doing for the end of the year, I know a lot of people are, getting ready for the upcoming year. Of course, it's going to be a new president. We need to hold this current administration accountable. There's just been recently, they said Biden had just pardoned his son. We have some political prisoners, Mumia Abu Jamal. There's Assata Shakur. We have real, political prisoners that need to be released. And if the president can find it in his ethical heart to pardon his own son, we definitely have folks who've been behind, the bars of political harm because of their stance and on their fight for justice. Even Leonard Peltier, our indigenous brother, these folks need to be pardoned before they leave office. And then, y'all know I'm a reparationist. It's important that before they leave, that we get this executive order to at least support the study. They need to cut the checks. Capitalist country. There's no reason not to cut a check to those who are descendants of enslaved African people who were denied their inheritance. We illegally by the government were denied our inheritance. In the capitalist country, they cut the check. That's something they can also do before they leave. They can actually have an executive order. They can free our political prisoners. So again, if we keep our agenda as our focus and not get caught up in the cult of personality and the emotionalism of hating and loving politicians, which is not very helpful, we can stay focused and keep our eyes on the prize, and that's our agendas. And I say agendas again because we're not a monolithic people with one agenda. Your number one might be my number three. My number one might be your number five. We can just kind of work together. We're not enemies because of that. That just means that I'm going to work on my number one more and you're going to work on it less because it's number five to you. That doesn't mean we're against each other. We have different priorities. That's nothing wrong. We can have similar agendas with different priorities. And that being said, these are some of the issues. These are some of the things that this current administration, Biden administration, can do before they leave. And we all need to be thinking about what can be done before they leave. And then what do we hold the incoming administration accountable for? It doesn't matter what you think of Biden. If I think it's very clear that he doesn't have the same mental aptitude as when he started. Should they had replaced him with Kamala before, once they saw he was slipping? I think they should have. They didn't. And many of those Democrats didn't want Kamala to be president. I'm not going to go down that slippery slope, but I'm clear based on they raised over $1.5 billion and these campaign consultants made lots of money, and she didn't win not one battleground state. And that wasn't $1.5 billion for 50 states. That's just 7 states, battleground states. It sounds like campaign malpractice, but they'll blame her or they'll blame the black man or the black community for her losing instead of holding people accountable who spent that 1.5 with those bad strategies. And again, the politician is the candidate. They're not the ones who are deciding on how to cut turf and how to target. And she did one heck of a job in the bottom of the ninth. 3 months left. What she did was heroic, with all the misogyny and sexism she had to deal with and all the racism in her own party. Just check the results. It doesn't make sense. It's inexplicable. You have that kind of money and not win not one state. And the amount of technology, we're talking about technology, the technology that the parties have at their disposal. There's no way you lose there's no way you have a message that bad that doesn't resonate, that you don't correct. In real time, you get feedback. I'm not just talking about focus groups. They know if the needle's been moved or not. And everybody got text blasts. So whoever got paid for those text blasts, they didn't work and it wasn't helpful. but they got paid anyway. So again, these are the things that we got to be clear. We're waiting for somebody to come save us. Even the folks who say they want to help us really may not be trying to help us. Even those who say they want to be intersectional and collaborative and allies, if you check the numbers, it is what it is. So again, what we're trying to do is make sure that we're prepared and before they leave office to get all the things that we can. And then when the new president gets in office, that we hold him accountable to our agendas. So again, this is why we're the adults in the room. This is what time it is. This is why we're here. We want to make sure that we're the ones that make a difference for our children. It's unacceptable that in this day and age, our young brothers and sisters are being harmed and hurt like they are. But we're the adults that are here to protect them. And we're going to do everything to do that. And that doesn't matter who's the president, who's elected. It's because we're good people doing the right thing. So I think that's important for us to kind of keep in mind. A lot of people have been, torn up emotionally. Just, be there for our family and friends, and be able to disagree without being disagreeable. And there's so many different ways. Share with your friends. Make sure that this doesn't mean anything without us coming together. And on the app, we have committees. Make sure you sign up for the committee so you can be actively engaged. And we also, as I said a little bit, we're looking for some outreach coordinators. So if you're a community outreach person in the DMV area, please come check us out and maybe you have an opportunity. And for those who just want to help, we always need help. We need your brains and the amazing ideas of our people. But with that being all said, as I always leave you with, I am because we are. Thank you so much.
Help protect us from racism and xenophobia by becoming an I Love Black People ambassador today. Join on iloveblackpeople.com. No matter where you are in the world, join us today and get access to the I Love Black People network. Special thanks to Banneker Communities.